Hi everybody, this is Rhys Barber from Audiology Associates. Thank you very much for watching our earwax removal compilation video today. So we've got two patients in this compilation, both are really good removals as well. So you can see this first patient, very dark, crumbly, quite hardened up wax in here. So I'm trying to use the little sort of standard size ulnar tube in here just to try and loosen the edge of this wax. But you can see that it's really firmly dried onto the canal wall. Now, to give you a little bit of background to this patient normally has their ears cleaned out in the NHS roughly about once a year. So hasn't had this done for about, or almost coming up to about 2 years. So you can see it's twice the amount of wax we'd normally be removing. Very dry to the canal wall as well. What I'm trying to do is unpeel these little bits in a moment, just to sort of take them off the canal walls to make them a little bit looser. But what we have here is a few pieces layered one over the top of the other. So I'm trying to work on this top section, but it's not really budging. So we're going to bring the Jobson horn in here, and you'll see now in a second just how hard this wax is. I'm trying to push against the side of the wax, but what's happening is it's just flicking off the top of the wax. It's that hardened up. Now, this can happen sometimes when patients don't really produce as much sort of oil in their ear canals as they normally do. Now, that happens with age, but it can also happen when you experience a little bit of dry skin, which is what this patient has. So I'm just trying to look for this looser section here at the top. So what we've got is this one piece at the top here, which is sitting just in front of the section I'm trying to work on at the bottom, which is, I think, trying to hold it in. So what we're going to do here is just try to break this down as much as I possibly can. Try and work the Jobson horn in between the wax and the canal wall itself, just to drop this top section down. That's what you can see is happening here. There we are, we've got a flatter section now. So let's see if we can get hold of this with the crocodile forceps, because the Jobson horn has done a good job at pulling it down, but not out. So crocodile forceps works really well with this kind of hard wax with dry skin around it. So we're just going to good clamp on the outside of that. We're going to draw this out, get rid of that piece. Now that's going to open up the top part of the canal here, but you can see that wax, how it was going up and behind that first initial piece, which was why it was having a little bit of difficulty coming out there. So what I need to do now is try and lift this bottom section off the canal wall, just try and sort of unstick it here, so we've got a better chance of sort of wiggling this out. But it's just not budging. There's a tiny bit of movement there, but very little. So it's really firmly stuck to that canal wall. So there is a tiny gap. So this is perfect type of wax for the Jobson, for the St. Bart's hook, I'm sorry. So we're just going to pop this through the gap, twist, there you go, get behind the wax and start drawing this down. Now what you'll see when this comes out, you can see we're still meeting some resistance. It doesn't want to come out of the ear canal, and the reason for that is it's actually dried around a piece of dry skin which is attached behind it, which you'll see in a second. There you go, you can see that popping out there. So because as the wax was migrating down, it just dried around that skin, it wasn't able to come out very easily. The eardrum looks lovely and healthy, left-sided canal there. You can actually see where the skin detached on the bottom right corner there. So this is what we removed. So we've got 1.5 centimeters. I'm going to go with, oh my goodness, I was doing something, about 5/8 of an inch. I'm going to go for that one, I think. So what you've got there is very hard pieces. They were like pebbles, like little tiny stones. When you pressed on them, there was no give in that at all. They felt really hard. So yeah, quite uncomfortable for the patient, as you can well imagine. Very relieved to get that out and hearing a heck of a lot better as well. Now, this patient came through, he had similar story. He normally has his ears cleaned out at the NHS, hasn't been able to do it for a while because the service is being closed down, or operating a very limited service, I should say, sorry, at the moment. But what you can see here, they've got this skin and dry wax kind of issue going on. So I've got the crocodile forceps in here straight away because there was this little lift of dry skin and wax right at the entrance, perfect for the crocodile forceps. But as much as I'm gripping onto this and pulling, it just moves and just flicks back into position. So something is holding this piece of wax in, okay, and the skin in here. So I'm just trying to draw this down the canal. You can see we're managing to get the grip. It's holding on really well, but as we kind of wiggle this back and down the canal, it just sheared off that front end of the wax and skin there. We're just going to try and grab the next section. Lots of very fine cilia all around the outside edge of the ear canal there, you can see, which perform a really important job. They stop all the bigger bits of dirt and debris from getting down inside the ear canal, so they should be there. So we've managed to get some away. So switch now to the suction. and you can see it's quite firmly stuck to this right-hand canal wall. So that may well have been what's been holding this in. So we're just gonna very slowly kind of just grab this section now we've detached it. Let's see if we can pull this out. So a bit more wiggling going on, but it's still something is holding this in. It's drawing down the canal, but with the amount of sort of pressure you put on it, you'd normally expect this to have popped out by now. So back in with the suction. Let's try and loosen it a little bit more from around the edges. There we are. You can just see it's starting to loosen a little bit now. We're getting a little bit more movement when we wiggle it back and forth. So back in now. Trying to get a good clamp on here with the forceps again. Good grip there. You can see it's really starting to come down the canal now. We're starting to get that bit of movement. As we're getting a grip, the jaws of the forceps, unfortunately, just as you try and get a grip, pushing this back in just ever so slightly. So we're going to go in with a Jobson horn here. We've got a good gap at the top. Let's get in here and start pulling this down and see what is going on. So as we draw this down the canal, you can see it's drawing wax and skin from deeper in the canal out as well. So we're just popping over the top, lots of little hairs embedded in there as well. Out that pops now. You can see it's come out, but it's not come out of the canal yet. So what is holding this in? So if we take a look over the top, what we'll see is a really good skin ribbon, which has dried onto the canal wall. Look at this as we pull this out. So we've got a good grip here with the crocodile. I'm trying to see around the side of the wax. As we draw this down the canal, there we are. There's the skin ribbon. Look at that coming away. That is a good piece of skin there, and that's what's been anchoring this in place. Every time we were pulling this, that skin ribbon was drawing it back into the canal. So behind that now, you can see we've got this other little plug of skin and wax here. Let's get a good grip on this one. There we go. You can see we're sort of lifting all the bits of dry skin off the base of the canal. This is sitting quite deep, this one. So let's get a good grip. Big chunky bits coming away now. There we are. You can see that very light coloured wax as well there. And if we take a look behind that, you'll see there's still more. So this was going all the way down, right the way down to the eardrum here. You can see we've got this peel, this lift of dry skin from the base of the canal. This other little section of wax sitting behind. There we go. That's all just got sucked into the machine here. If we take a look behind that, we've got this little flap of dry skin. Let's get rid of that first of all. It'll help us to see what's going on beyond it. So we're just going to use this sort of this pulling motion to break it away from source there. But it's left this chunk of dry skin and wax mixture all in that valley just in front of the eardrum. Really difficult to get it away easily from here. We've switched to the fine end because obviously we're working really close to the canal wall and close to the eardrum itself. Let's just draw this one down. There we are. It's a good grip. There we go. You can see the whole thing starting to lift. Just broke away on the end, but we're just loosening it from that valley now. So we've got in with the bigger tube now with the Zollner tube, standard size Zollner. I want to get a good grip on this section. I want to see if we can get the whole thing out in one piece if we can. There we are. You can see there's the lift. Out it comes from that valley. There we go. Big old chunk of wax sitting right down there. And you can imagine, I've told you before about the sensitivity of the skin and the eardrum down there. So the eardrum looks a little bit dull today, but it's had everything pressed down on top of it. You can imagine how uncomfortable that would have been for the patient, very aware of that. Look at the size of that skin ribbon. So we've got 4.5 centimeters. I'm going to say, oh my goodness, 1 inch and 7/8. Boom, there you go. So you can see a massive, massive skin ribbon. That piece to the left-hand side, that is one continuous piece. So that is, oh my goodness, 3 centimeters. I'm going to hazard a guess, that's about 1.5 inches. And you can see it was quite a long old section. The remainder pieces, the pieces to the right-hand side of that, were the ones we took away from just in front of the eardrum. I take a breath though, guys. So as always, guys, thank you so much for watching the video today. If you did enjoy it, don't forget we post every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Give us a like, subscribe if you really enjoyed the video. As always, guys, take care of yourselves and one another. I shall see you again real soon.